Hi, I'm Gary Hibner and welcome to this Groove 3 video series on Native Instruments Guitar Rig 6. This is an amp emulation plugin system plus a multi-effects rack. And you can use this primarily to amp up and give specific tones to your guitars and basses, but it can be used on other types of instruments as well. There's been a big overhaul to the user interface compared to previous versions. It's vector-based now, so it can handle higher resolutions, and as you can see, it looks a lot more modern. As you can see from the component types that you've got here, you've got amplifiers, cabinets, delays, distortion, other types of effects that you can use to build up this chain for the sound or source that you're going to be using it on. But before getting into any of that, let's first make sure that our audio device is set up correctly. Now for this is the standalone application. Now if you're using the standalone application, you need to first make sure that you've set up your audio device that you're going to be using with the application. But if you're running it as a plugin within your DAW, then you need to set up your audio device and MIDI setup correctly in your DAW. So you click on these little three buttons over here, you go to File and then to Preferences. And then over here in the audio section, you can set up your audio device. So I'm on a Mac on my side, it's using the core audio system, but if you are on a PC, you'd need to choose your ASIO driver. Then under device, you can select the audio device that's going to be used. If I click here, I can see all the audio devices that are available on my current system, but this is my main audio device that I want to set up. And then after that, you can see the status, so it's running correctly, and you can set the sample rate. Now, 44.1 kilohertz is the audio standard, but if you do want to jump up to a higher audio sample rate to get a better resolution, then you can do. But for this video series, we're going to be working at 44.1 kilohertz. And then you can adjust the buffer size over here. So if you don't know what buffer size is, it's basically the latency. So when you play back, let's say your guitar that's plugged into the standalone application, if there's a delay between what you're playing and what you're hearing, then this latency is probably set too high. A good starting point is 128 samples, but as you can see, you can jump this up to higher buffer sizes or even lower. But if you do go too low, there might be some clicks and pops in your recording, so just bear that in mind. And some audio devices can support lower buffer sizes than others, but I'd say a good starting point is 128 samples. Then down over here, you can set up the inputs that are going to be used. I've got an audio device that's got 4 different inputs. So you've got a left input and right input, or if you're just using one of the inputs like the left, then it's going to be a mono source. So my guitar is generally plugged into input 2 on my audio device, so I can select the relevant input here. If I had my guitar plugged into input 1, then I could switch to select that. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to set it to input 2. You've also got sidechain inputs that you can use as sources for some of the components that use sidechain inputs, but for now, we'll just leave these blank. And then for the outputs, this is going to the main output 1 and 2 on my setup. If you've got different speaker configurations or are using different outputs on your device, then just select the relevant one over here. So that is the audio side of things set up. Now next up, let's go to MIDI, because later in the series, I'm going to show you how you can assign parameters and things to parameters on your MIDI device so that you can control them externally from the application. So under MIDI, I'm going to set the MIDI channel to Omni, but if you've got a MIDI device that's sending out MIDI on a specific channel, you can select the channel over there. And then for the inputs, I have a sustain pedal that I'm going to be using later in the video series that's connected to my MIDI controller keyboard, which is the Novation launch key. So you just need to tick whichever device that you want to use as your MIDI device, or tick all of them if you need be. So that is the audio and MIDI setup. Now in the next video, let's take a look around through the application and see what it looks like. And then we'll also dive in and take a look at the difference between the standalone and the plugin.